Trinity has been incredibly generous to the garden and to master gardeners and to this project. One of the first things they did is allow us to harvest water off this half of the tall roof and all of this lower roof. And what we do is we bring it down through these PVC pipes you see there, and there's one back there in the back. We then dug channels down through here to our tank out here. That tank out there is lower at the top than anything up here, so we can go into it with gravity flow. And when we get these big rains, that's the only way. You can't keep up with the pump. You have to use gravity. So we pump it down, we let gravity take care of it from there, and then we have a pump down behind that we pump it up to the garden.
How much does that hold? How many gallons? 20,000?
At 15,000.
15, and what is it, half full or full? Or?
No, right now it's empty. See that little bulb down there at the bottom that's red? That sets the water level. Now, with the last rain, we got up to just about half a tank.
Wow.
But we watered 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for about an hour, but we're watering into the entire garden using drip systems. We don't do any spray. We try to keep as much water as we possibly can, but it's still, we go through it.
So what are you using for water now? The city?
Yes. Again, generosity of Trinity's vestry. We hooked into the irrigation system back here, and we channeled out to this side, and then we come into the garden. And then just a little bit more on that. You never want to mix those two waters, right?
Rain and yeah, for the contamination, yes.
So we have valves set up on that side, 2 valves set up on this side, so we can actually turn the city water on. I'm sorry? I just heard somebody say.
It sounds like a speaker over there somewhere.
Yeah, I think somebody's outside back there.
Oh.
And it's blowing over.
Oh, okay. Can everybody hear me fairly well?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a valve system so we can water on the outside, or we can turn it on and water on the inside. But we always make sure, number one, the water's off before we leave. And number two, we never turn this on and that on at the same time. Very, very bad thing to do.
Yes, it is if you break it.
I didn't get that. What are you talking about? The next
Pressure.
You don't want to touch the rainwater.
Nothing to do with the
It's
quality.
city water.
Oh,
Because sometimes you can get a backflow and you can't contaminate the other stuff. It's very rare.
Oh, I get it.
Have a safety provision.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were saying
Oh yeah, no.
Now, one thing-
Dry now, they're using the city water.
We just yesterday, finished planting all of this. And the idea of this is beautification, because as the garden deteriorates into the winter months, and this starts not looking so nice, the idea is this is going to grow up like you see that on the inside, and so the view from the church is still going to be pleasant. That's the idea. But this is all brand new. And this is what we fill all the beds up. Well, not all the beds. I'll explain that in a second. This is what we call soil. Soil. It is not dirt. Dirt is what you have under your fingernails. Soil is what you planted. And you can take a look at this and see that it's just really nice quality stuff. You see a little bit of sparkling, that's the sand in it, but a lot of organics too.
Where do you get it?
Okay, I don't like their name. Diane's Dirt. In Lakeway.
like a sandy loam or what kind
Yeah.
of?
Butterfly bush that's just done exactly what we wanted it to do. And then as you go in here, you're going to see the bricks that we had people donate for, and the names on them. And then there are also bricks on all of the beds, the raised beds. So if you made a donation, you might find your name.
I saw that. Yeah, right here.
Okay, good.
You know, I come and work there some on Mondays and Wednesdays, but I came because I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know this story, so I'm glad to hear all this.
This is a great place to learn.
Yeah.
You learn by doing.
Yeah.
You'll notice in here we have bees all over the place. Bees are pollinators. Bees are good things. So we love seeing that. You've always got forward plans. The idea of these beds being this tall is that we're at some time going to have a path in here for handicap. So you could actually come in here in a wheelchair, be down here, and still work. What we do on all the beds is like this one right here, carrots planted on September 4th. So we know just when they're going to mature. And that's real important on things like beets, because you look at that and you say, is that ready? Not until the end of next month. Things we've had here, I mean, this looks like you just got started. We just finished harvesting over 200 pounds of sweet potatoes from this.
From that one little area?
Well, this one and that one.
Wow, that's great.
It was fantastic and it was absolutely gorgeous. Vines growing all over the place. It was really, really nice.
Nice.
This squash looks beat right now because we got attacked by bugs. That white powder, that's diatomaceous earth, or DE. You sprinkle that on things and it's supposed to deter the bugs. We're totally organic here, so we're not using any artificial insecticides or anything like that. We try to do everything environmentally friendly.
Is that good for all kind of bugs in the garden? Diatomaceous earth?
It's good for the little ones that crawl around and eat things.
Yay.
Now, Dave, on your basil, do you ever clip any of this stuff, or you just let it grow?
We do clip it.
I mean,
we
you know,
it
take
over-
the tops off.
Yeah. We take that and give it to one on 281 tea time. Because a lot of times they'll donate organic stuff when they have
Yeah,
things
that's
chopped
nice.
up and left over. We'll
Nice.
take that and throw it up in our compost pile.
Nice.
Hey, David,
Yes, sir.
how do you know how much to water and regulate it?
We water everything for about an hour 3 times a week. And then just watch and see how things are doing.
Okay.
I mean, the carrots are happy, the beets are happy. You really can't do anything about the squash a lot of times. So just,
Potatoes.
those are sweet potatoes. What happened is when we cleaned all this out, we put it in a pile there, and then those are volunteers that are coming up. These are keyhole gardens. And not really so much for production as they are for education. We like to produce things here. Again, we produced over 4,000 pounds this year for the Helping Center. And everything we produce, we take and give to them. But we also want to educate people. And if you've got a small area and you want to do something, this is not a bad idea. We've just gotten this in place in the last week. And probably that much of it, let's see, that much of it is cardboard greens and browns that you just pack in there. And then we've got, you'll see down in this hole, there's orange peels and cantaloupe and stuff like that. It fertilizes naturally. So those will decompose, go out into the garden, and these guys will take care of themselves. The soil you see is a little bit lower than what you might expect. That's because it's already started to settle. So as time goes by, we'll put more soil in.
Sorry, David, my mind was wandering. What are these plants? What are they?
There are all kinds of different vegetables,
They, okay.
mostly. And they're all cut. One other nice thing, St. Peter's Lutheran, they've got God's Hands, I think, or God's Will, Our Hands. They had a group of 5 of them come out yesterday, and all this brick that's all neatly stacked nice was scattered all over the place. They did that, and a lot of this new mulch you see down here, they did that. They came out and we worked them to the bone for 2 hours.
Way to go.
I bet they're not in church this morning.
I bet they are. You can't stop those Lutherans.
Since we go
Yeah,
up
get a
there,
couple of
these are,
Catholics around here, you'll see what they'll do.
These are primarily beans, but you can see how this squash is just, I mean, if you plant squash, it's going to take over a large area. And that's something else. Everybody knows what the land is like around here. You can just look over here. I mean, it's all rock. So that's why most everything here is in raised beds. We had a group of volunteers again come out to a location we had in Bertram, and we built all of these raised beds. And they're all, that first one down there that you see the tin on the outside of, that's just to show people what the interiors look like. The rest of them have these cedar posts just to make them look pretty.
And are they cedar boards outside too, or what is that?
Yeah, cedar.
Cedar
But
posts?
inside is the metal.
Is the metal.
Inside's the metal. And there's no bottom to it.
Yeah.
So they just sit there.
Great.
And what happened, I mean, take a look at the number of beds there. If we'd had to do that with wheelbarrows, we'd still be working on it. So what happened, again, volunteers, Ed Magaloid came out with his tractor. He leveled this area and he moved all of our soil into the beds.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
Kubota little
yeah.
stump.
We had a group of volunteers again come out. They'd set a bed down, he'd come fill it, set another bed down, he'd fill it.
Nice.
So it was really a great work day.
Love the basil. I'm just a basil nut.
So more eggplant. This stuff is really fantastic. I can't believe how well it's doing. And this has been here all summer. Tender beans. Everything you see that's growing up new right now is because this is all fall crops. This is all cool weather crops. And it's not real happy being out here at 95 degrees, but we are the middle of October, so we had to get started. So we've got cauliflower, broccoli, all over the place. These are all
Peppers.
These are all hot peppers and sweet peppers. And you look into the bushes and you'll see, I mean,
They're ready.
yeah. And we harvest 3 times a week. So what you see that's ready today wasn't ready on Friday. But, I mean, look how many it's producing. Look at all the jalapenos in there.
Yeah.
And a lot of them there too.
Oops, sorry. No, it's fine.
Then we get up to this okra up here. You'll notice it's a little shorter than what you might expect okra to be. That's because we came in and gave it a haircut. Because what happens is it grows up in the stems like that, it gets tall, and it's not producing anymore. So you whack it off like this, and then it starts producing up on top again. So the whole idea there is just to extend the life of it. More rainwater. We're capturing rainwater off of all of these roofs into these tanks. And we use that for things like fertilizing, washing tools off, just stuff like that.
Hey, David,
Yes, sir.
so will this turn into an okra?
Yes. Let's see if we can find one around here.
There's some over here.
Okay. Where the flower's still at the end of the okra?
See the okra right here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He's just starting to form there. That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
It looks almost like a hibiscus.
Huh.
Did you know
I
that?
had no idea okra grew on plants.
Yeah, and that okra, as soon as it gets hot, like about July,
It's really fried.
I mean, it goes crazy.
It gets really super tall. It's too tall. You cut it off.
More peppers.
Yeah, a lot of peppers right now.
They're ready.
This was our experiment right here for watermelon. We weren't sure how well we'd do, and we actually did pretty darn good. These are black diamond watermelon, and the idea there is they don't get really big, so they stay small so that you can give somebody something like that, and it's good for, like, you know, a small family or something like that. And the way we check them is we look for the stem to start turning brown, and then we turn it over and look for it, see how it's just starting to turn a little yellow there, and then you knock it. That still sounds pretty solid, so that one's not ready to go yet. But there are ones in there. And I don't know why, but this okra in ground is still producing up high. But all that okra down there was easily this tall. And it starts, I mean, you start having to get step ladders to pick the stuff.
Nice.
How can you tell when it's time to pick that okra?
You pick the okra,
Make a pretty good pot of gumbo out of it.
that's getting towards large right there.
It is.
And that's too small. If you let the okra, I've seen okra, I grow okra at the house and I let it get like that for seeds.
For seeds, me too.
But if you try eating something like that, it's really tough.
Awful.
This stuff, that's ready to go, definitely.
And how often do they come in and pick? Daily, I guess, when they're open?
3 times a week.
3 times a week.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And anybody that wants to come out and work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're out here at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Are you gonna check Bill Hall's pockets before you?
Yeah. He loves gumbo, yeah. Great gumbo cook.
I trust Joe. That was not political. That was not political. I'm talking about just Joe.
Oh, I just caught that. Thank you, yeah.
Clever, clever.
Glad you tell the truth. That's good.
David.
Yeah.
Is this the little brackets for the water, the barrels that they just now built?
Yes. We did. Finest Corley, who's a good friend of mine and works with us in Habitat. He's one of those quiet kind of guys that just keeps working and working and working. He came out and built that for us.
That's nice.
Before I thought it was okay, but the wheelbarrows had turned up all over the place and everything. It just looked kind of junky.
Yeah, looks good.
And we have a lady, Yvonne Hammond, who is his sister, who is one of these Uber organizers. And she said, I want a rack. And Finest does what Yvonne tells him to do. She's also in charge of our shed. And if you ever saw the shed at the old place, I mean, it was scary to go into. It was just really scary. This one looks fantastic. And that's all on Yvonne. She's the one that takes care of that.
Dave, I have a question about the fertilizer. I mean, these tomatoes are just amazing. What do you use in addition to great dirt?
Well, number one, we never use dirt. We always use soil.
I'm sorry, soil. Ah, you got me. I'm sorry.
Soil.
Number
Soil,
two,
soil.
this that's in ground right here, at the old garden, we've been working that soil for years. We went over there and scraped the top part of that off, brought it over here and put it down here. So that is not native soil. That is soil we brought in.
Okay.
And then every
Dirt
time
that's
we
been
harvest,
fed.
just here.
Yeah.
And then every time we have a crop come out, we come in and we till in microlife, which is a natural fertilizer, coffee grounds that we pick up at JoJo's, Epsom salts, and
That's beautiful.
that's about it. Oh, and compost. We till in
that's
compost. Every time we plant, that's what we call amending. So you, well,
Do you
can
ever
s-
use rice hulls?
No, we don't have access to that. We're
Out
happy to
on
try
they
anything.
sometimes mix in rice hulls with
Okay.
their dirt food.
Okay.
But that's some healthy looking plants.
But like this corn, that was just an experiment, and I don't think it's going to be very successful. But, you know, we
Corn
just
didn't work here.
tried it and see what happens.
Dave,
Yeah.
on your fencing, are you guys finding that that's high enough and strong enough to keep the raccoons from hopping over?
What we have is we've got that fence up there, and then I don't know if
Yes.
you can see it, but down at the bottom you see chicken wire.
Yes.
Yeah. We went around the whole thing with chicken wire, came up about 3 feet, and then bent it and went out
That's
2
what I
feet.
wondered.
Underground.
Yes.
No, on top of ground,
Oh,
so that
okay.
when they come to start trying to dig, they hit that chicken wire.
Great, great,
And
great.
touch wood, we haven't had any deer try to jump it, and there are deer in the area.
Yes.
And
Day and night.
another point is that fence was put up by Cactus Construction
Yeah.
for us.
They're the
and-
best fence people.
They
Oh.
are for sure.
Yeah,
It's,
but no, they donated it, right?
yeah,
They-
yeah, they donated.
So you had a lot of community involvement of people kind of donating, and I love seeing this kind of a community effort.
It is.
There's very little out here. A lot of this wood was
Celebrities
donated
like to me.
by
It is really
over
great.
on Commerce Street, big place.
Good flavor.
Hmm.
Foxworth, yeah,
Well, does Lowe's still do any donations at all or not?
not really.
Not really?
They-
Because
they-
they used to a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
and they
I think they
stopped
got
lot
a
of
new
stuff.
manager or something, and we didn't get very far with either them or Home Depot. I don't know why,
Yeah, well,
but we had a lot of people come through. So,
yeah, nice.
like Mueller gave us this shed at a very good price, and again, the Habitat guys, they came out and built this.
Assembled it, yeah.
And you take a look at it.
Yeah, that is.
That's
nice.
the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Got the floor in it too, huh?
What's her name, Yvonne? Is she looking for work?
Yeah, yeah, that's nice.
He takes on jobs that are reasonable, not your off.
So like when you planted those tomatoes, you'll know about
John Drumgold taught me how to garden when I
Did he, yeah?
first got here.
Yeah,
And
this
I
is,
got one of these and I put it
yeah,
together. It
I
was
do
so
too,
hard.
yeah, it's kinda nice. Yeah,
A
this is
gorilla
nice.
pot.
Yeah, that's right. This is nice. I like the little skylight too.
Martha Stewart cruise.
Yeah, she learned a lot of that stuff in jail, I think.
She did. I didn't have to go to jail.
Yet?
You don't want to keep planting tomatoes in the same location all the time, because that's going to get a really bad bug problem. So last spring, all our tomatoes were over on that side. All this over here was potatoes. And I think we were over 300 pounds of just
I
regular
remember reading
potatoes.
that.
Yeah,
It was a huge amount.
yeah. It was a gorgeous harvest. So now we switched tomatoes over here and put something else over there. So the bugs hopefully will get confused and won't follow you. We just finished pulling up cantaloupe right here, and we produced well over 100 pounds of cantaloupe. And again, this is an experiment. We had somebody donate asparagus plants, so that's what that is in the back. And this is artichoke in front.
So this is first year asparagus?
Yeah.
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 They need to do this again though, now that it's so abundant. I think they did it at the beginning.
Because I'm getting ready to write them. I want to know where all those wind turbines.
You're welcome to look at this right now, or there's a copy of it in the office.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're
A
just
lady
amazing. They're just-
went to the trouble of putting it together, and it basically shows where we started out in 2019 up into May of this year.
Good question.
So it just, gives you a feel for what happened during those times. And again, there's a copy of that in the office. And anybody that's got an enthusiastic thinking, wow, I want a garden, I've got some handouts here. Organic pests and disease control. Then inside, helpful pests, how to compost, how to raise things in container gardens, companion planting, and one of the nicest things on the back, that's a chart showing when to plant.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay,
So
I'll take one.
Well, she's always talking about doing, I got a nice rock, it's a rock raised garden.
Thank you.
But I'm gonna do the beds like this and
Thank you. I have this. Thank you.
uh-huh.
Well, this is beautiful, you guys did a beautiful settle backyard.
That's the butterfly bomb.
We do
And you'll come out here in a little while, in about a month, and you'll see seeds on that in the shape of butterflies. Yeah. Well, it loves the sun, and the deer don't like it.
Well, that's good.
So,
Well, this is beautiful. This is where you teach you.
How do you guys decide where to plant? 'Cause I know you have okra here, okra there, and then okra back there.
Yeah.
So how do you determine, like, why don't you put all of the okra together or all of the tomatoes together?
Well, last year we did have all the tomatoes together over here. This year we did that separation simply because of when we had things ready to go in.
Okay.
And a lot of times we just do it by committee or whoever's out here and decides, well, I'm going to plant this.
Okay.
And just do it. So,
Thank you very much. It was lovely.
Yeah, thank you, David. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, David.
are there any other questions?
Do you need to schedule ahead of time to come, or do you just show
No,
up
just show up.
at 8 a.m.?
8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okie dokie.
So, about how many master gardeners or people are regularly involved?
To be honest, on a regular basis, maximum probably 5. No, you get a lot of people enthusiastic about doing something, and then it's July or August, and you're wheelbarrowing mulch or you're stacking bricks, and the enthusiasm kind of wanes. But we've got 3 ladies that are religiously out here. I mean, Joe's out here before I'm out here most days. And she's real quiet, and she just gets in and does it. So,
You guys have done a great job.
Yes, it's
well, thank you.
Beautiful.
terrific.
Really.
We're really enthusiastic about it, and we're trying to keep it going.
And I now know where to get my okra, right?
So you have, you deliver food over to the help center?
Yes. We just, you saw the wagon